Let's just do this.
Okay, it's probably live right now. Maybe.
Oh, nice.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, we probably
Play
are.
us in, George. Play us in, Mr. Co.
We're live.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Robot and the Bear. What episode are we on now?
I think we are on 68.
68. What a fortuitous number. Today we have George Co, pianist extraordinaire.
Pianist mediocre. You said extraordinaire. I just decided to say mediocre.
Eric had to bring me down a level just to humble myself.
That's what Eric does.
I mean, it's what he's good at. So
yeah. One thing I'm good at.
You even have like the mic and the spit catcher and everything.
Oh yeah.
Where's mine?
I don't know. You're just using an iPhone. I mean, you're just like, I'm Luke Chu. I don't need a setup,
The voice is so clear. The voice is so clear. I know. I knew there was gonna be problems when I saw you started off landscape like sideways. You're like, oh, I'm gonna cheat the podcast. I'm gonna cheat the podcast. What happens, anyways? So first off, welcome George Co again, and also Luke Chu. You are in your studio, right? This is the
studio.
First or second time broadcasting from there, maybe.
This is the second time in the studio.
Awesome.
It's been a busy couple month, busy month. So
right.
I like how you reduced it from couple of months to just like you were thinking. wait, the few months before that, I was just dicking around. So it's actually this month,
No, I was straight dicking around.
Okay.
It was great. You got. I'm one of those people that needs like dick time. So.
Okay. Luke Chu, I'm one of the type of guy that needs dick time. Okay.
Yeah, dick time to dick around.
Okay. Modification needed there. It's all good. Anyway, so George, what have you been up to? George Co is a pianist, among other things.
Yes.
Yeah. First off, before we get anywhere, we're calling you a pianist. Prove it.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Prove this. Wait. First off. What do you do? Are you pushing a button that already has music programmed, and then you're just moving around like this?
Oh yeah, this is all fake BS. No, because I'm actually playing.
I don't believe it.
On a Steinway.
Oh my goodness! That piano is probably. How much money is that piano, George?
This one, so brand new. This would have been $102,000.
Okay.
Whew. So one of James's bigger stuff would probably be
or a cumulative, a few of Luke Chu's paintings.
A few.
A few.
Yeah.
A few.
Like a few.
A few. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, a few.
I don't know. I don't know.
My larger paintings for sure.
But either way, that's pretty cool. Anyways, prove it, George. I don't believe you.
Okay.
Beautiful. George,
yes.
was that
Beautiful.
You improvising, or was that is that actually like some kind of something that was already written before?
No, that was completely improvised. I was thinking of you, Luke. I was just thinking of you needing more dick time, and so I was like, oh, that's the music that works.
That is dick time music right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
The soundtrack to dick time.
Wow.
Gain that more of that dick for dicking around.
That's a very elegant dick time right there. Very elegant. But
I only expect prime dick for dick time, dicking around.
Oh my goodness.
So this episode will be called "Dicking Around with George Coe."
Wow.
Yeah, I sure really want that in my SEO. You know, like when people search George Coe on Google,
It's gonna say George Coe Dick Time.
Yeah, Dick Time.
Anyway.
Well, it's okay. Like, how long have you been playing piano for?
So I've been playing since I was 5, and like a lot of Asian American kids, I was forced to do it. Hated the goddamn thing, but I didn't start doing it professionally until I was 23. So the last 5 years. Before then, I just did it because I had to do it. But when I was in college, I actually had to drop out because I wasn't good enough. Like I wanted to become a professional musician, and I realized if I wanted to get to a certain level, I had to put in the work and practice. It's kind of like if you want to be a good artist, you just got to like sketch those 1,000 shitty drawings. And so I dropped out of college to study piano conducting seriously for 1 year. So I practiced 8 hours a day, and then went back to school, and I switched my major, and that's when I started really getting into the classical stuff. And then, but the last year and a half, I would say, basically since I started doing that music meditation stuff with GR, like during the beginning of the pandemic, is when I started to really write my own music. That's when I like really left the total classical world and just started improvising and doing my own thing.
Wait, so, well, I get from what I gathered, you actually, I mean, you are a professional musician.
Yes.
And as a classically trained professional musician, what does that, like, where do you do your job outside of the pandemic, from the pandemic stuff that you're doing?
Yeah. So if like before, I would say before this year, like if I was just pure classical, like I played shit like this. Like if I just played that kind of shit, it would just be like I would play at concert halls or concert venues. So it'd be like a very small recital hall, like 50 to 100 seats, to a really big concert hall, like 2,000 to 4,000 seats. Or I'd play with orchestras, or I'd play at music festivals, and basically any hoity-toity event you can think of, or gala. Like they usually have a piano player play, or like all of that kind of repertoire. So like galas, I played at galas, museum openings. Like I did one for the Museum of Fine Arts. That was awesome. They did this Hokusai exhibit where they had the best woodblock prints, like the originals. So that was one of my favorite like fundraiser events, because like I could actually enjoy, like I had a good time going there and playing. But yeah, so it'd be recitals, private venues. I played at vineyards, and that's where you make the bulk of your living, is touring. And I actually wasn't a recording artist. I didn't have any albums or EPs or singles when I was just touring classically. But so like before the pandemic, that's principally what you did. You just played gigs and you wore a suit.
So
yeah.
So how do you, okay, like this is a world that I know nothing of. So I'm curious how one like goes from, like practicing the piano to, like playing like galas, because like it's not like rock and roll where you like play in your garage for a while, and then suddenly you get a thing at the Whiskey a Go Go or some shit like that. It's, or is it?
It's a lot more like there's a lot more nepotism involved, I think, generally.
Oh wow.
There's not really a clear-cut path. If you're a white male, you're set, like many industries.
Really?
Yeah, it's really hard to make it as a non-white male. So basically, assuming you've done the work, like you can play, assuming you have a program ready. So like our version of a set list, like if you're talking about a strict classical world, which I'm kind of not a part of anymore, but like back in the old days, you'd have something called a recital program, which is like your set list. It's about an hour and a half to 2 hours of piano music. and you'd have to prepare 2 or 3 of those to go on tour. And then you also have to have in your back pocket concertos. So concertos are piano pieces that are playing with an orchestra, and those one piece goes from 30 minutes to an hour, and you need to have about 2 to 3 of those too. So it's a lot of like you basically have 6 hours of music that you need to have memorized, ready to go. Assuming you've done all your homework there, you still may not be able to get a gig.
Wow.
So like to get a gig, you have to. There's a couple ways. One is you have a rich family, so they donate money to a concert hall. So they say like, I'll give you 100 grand, but you have to let my son or my daughter play
Wow.
one concert. So that's a lot of people get in that way. So it's really funny. I would say 70 to 80% of concert pianists come from very wealthy families. Like that's just kind of the way it is. The second method is to win a major competition. So like there's only 3 piano competitions in the world that can lead to a career. So that's the Tchaikovsky piano competition, the Chopin piano competition, and the Van Cliburn piano competition. The probability of you winning is 1,000th of a percent.
So which one did you win?
Oh, I didn't win any. I got kicked out. I got knocked out. I got knocked out in the first round of a lot of them. So, but yeah, so like that's one way you win the competition. Usually an agent scouts you because they go to the final recital and then they give you a shot. Another way is there are 2 small labels. There's only 2 for the whole entire classical music industry. There are 2 small labels that do a competition. It's the Young Artists Guild and the Concert Artists Guild. And if you win their competition, they'll give you a record deal and they'll give you 50 concerts.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a big deal if you win this one. I think this competition is a little bit more important than the really big, like just pure piano competition organizations. But if you pass, like if you do 50 concerts and you sell well, they will push you to one of the bigger labels or bigger like managing get a bigger management company to manage your career. Then you have a shot. And then the last method, oh, there's 2 more methods, my bad. So another method is you wait for someone to die. I'm not even kidding. They wait for them to die or get really sick. So like the most famous concert pianist today, Long Long, got his start because Andre Watts, this other concert pianist, got pneumonia. He got super sick, so he couldn't perform. And Long Long got a phone call 5 hours before his concert to fly to Chicago to sub for Andre Watts, and that's how he got famous.
And
like,
that person's really famous, right? I actually heard of them.
yeah. Long Long is
Long Long's like, yeah. Is it like maybe the #1 pianist in the world? Maybe
like in terms of career, not like yeah. He's the Michael Jackson of piano. Like maybe that's not the best analogy. He's the
because he likes little kids. He's got Long, or his name is Long for a reason. First off, and then he has Long Ranch.
That's some serious dick time.
Yep.
Yeah. I hope. I actually
he gives Long lessons.
Yeah. Oh. No. Actually, Long.
Sorry.
I hope he never sees this because
it's okay. But so you did say in the beginning. Well, first off, is there another way besides a person dying? I kind of interrupted you. So I forgot.
No. It's
Let's
all
fix
good.
That.
It's a conductor. A conductor risks their career on you. So a conductor is just like, you know what? I fucking believe this musician so much. I'm gonna give up a night where we can make money, like bring in a famous artist. I'm gonna give up that night, and a concert hall in one night could pull in 200 grand. Like,
right.
I mean, they still won't break even, but like, that sounds impressive. But they will bank that concert night on that one artist. That happens. In my entire career, I'm 28, so it's not been that long. But like what I've seen in my career, I've only seen it happen twice, and that's 2 times out of like 15 years. Kind of sucked, That's terrible odds. So yeah, those are the only ways to make it. Like to do it the way I did it. Like I'm considered a rebel in the industry, and so I have like a weird reputation in the classical world. But I didn't go that way. I didn't go in any of those methods at all. And so
how'd you do it?
I just, I think kind of like in that GR spirit, I just kind of I just kind of did what I did, and I was like, I'm gonna do it, and I asked a lot of people for help, and I think it's like I was very entrepreneur in getting my gigs. Like I would ask people to just give me a shot. I would audition for them on the spot, which is not very common. Like I would go to hotels in Manhattan and I'd be like, "Hey, do you need someone to play piano like in the afternoon for some hotel guests?" Like a performance, not just like background music. Although I played a lot of background music, and they're like, "No, we're good." And I'm like, "Can I just play 5 minutes?" And they're like, "No, no, no, it's okay." And like, I just wouldn't listen. I'd just go straight to the piano and play for 5 minutes, and they'll be like, "Okay, you can play next week for 3 o'clock." And
Oh, wow.
that's how I got gigs. And or I would send CDs, or I would actually do consulting deals for companies. Like I would like because on my day job I'm a brand strategist, so I would like go to a company, do a consulting project for them, and I said, "Oh, I don't want to get paid, but I'll play piano for you guys." So I would trade my paid freelance job for an opportunity to play piano. So I that's kind of how I thought about getting gigs, because I knew I was good. Like I would say I'm in the top 1 to 300 pianists in the world. I know I'm
What?
like that. Like
No way.
I'm at
Wow.
but
That's shaving off a lot of pianists.
no,
That's
like I would say I'm very lucky to be in like that, because like all my colleagues have been at the very top, but like the only people that make money are the top 30. So
Gotcha.
there's not it's there are 60 million people in the world studying piano. There are about 1,000 that are like very good, like you are at the highest level of performance, and there's about 300 to 400 that are pretty much the same in terms of professionalism. So I'm like in that. I would say like
Gotcha.
I'm in that kind of grew, but then
I think yeah.
I know it sounded arrogant.
No, I think tons. I think
yeah.
tons of industries are like that. Like I think tennis is almost like that. But maybe the
Yeah.
numbers are a little better. But if you're number 500 in the world, you're basically broke. You're not making any money.
You're broke, but
You're giving tennis
amazing.
lessons to little kids, and
Yeah.
if you're lucky, yeah, and
but
you're nothing. But
exactly.
you're not going to make money.
But
you're amazing, But you're amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that's
Awesome. Gotcha.
That's where I'm at. I'm the guy at the country club giving lessons to little kids, and like the like the top 30 is the only one that can say I make piano. I do piano full time. Like I perform full time.
So, well, a couple things. One, you said it helps being white, but Long Long is Asian. Yo Yo Ma is Asian. He's not a piano player, but
Right.
Doesn't being Asian actually help? Don't they know that means hard work, and that you had lessons longer than everybody, and that you are smart? You went to Harvard. What else? Like
you would think.
Wasn't that helpful?
That's what I thought initially, from the get-go of my career, but I found out very quickly no. I think Yo-Yo got very lucky at a young age. Well, Yo-Yo's a particular case because he was what you would define as a prodigy. Like he played at the White House with his sister when he was 7.
Mm-hmm.
Like this guy everyone knew he was incredible, and he did his debut concert at Carnegie Hall when he was 10.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy, he was the greatest in the world from the get-go.
I just noticed. I think you need to change your name, because Long Long, Yo-Yo. I mean,
Coco.
It is
Coco.
Coco.
I mean,
or JoJo.
I mean, so in Chinese, like a double sounding name is good luck. Like it's a huge trend in China. Like,
George of the Jungle.
That's hard.
Or JJ or Gigi.
No.
Gigi Gucci's. The Gucci's.
Yeah, you got the Gucci logo.
Gucci's, 2 G's backwards. Code Gucci's. Okay. Anyway.
No, but yeah.
We tried.
Yeah. But yeah, like I think like it's like there's only like a few that can really do it full time. And so it's incredibly competitive, and like I think there's only 30, and then like I thought being Asian was an advantage, and I think it's more so now because China's such a huge market and Korea is really big on classical music. But the people that have the power to put you in those management positions, to get you, like there are the two best classical music management companies are Columbia Artist Management and Opus 3 Artists. And if you look at their entire roster, it's like 90% white. Wow. And then the best label to record classical music, the best three labels are Deutsche Grammophon, Decca Classical, and
wow. Those are like
classical.
old.
Yeah, that's like the highest
Decca?
level.
Come
like
on, that's
Decca,
like
yeah.
Those are like 78 RPM records. Decca.
Yeah. No, like that's it's a classic.
Yeah.
But like to get on the like most of our roster is white, and it's because the people who are making the decisions are white, and so and like
Asian Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Here we go.
But like, and so like to be a minority and make it, you really have to have such a huge following, and you have to be so good at what you do that it pressures those labels to finally adopt you.
Gotcha.
So to give a shot,
wow.
So to give a shot to a young non-white artist is really hard in this industry. Like if you think about it, the LA Phil does not look like the way it did until Gustavo Dudamel became music director. Most of the LA Phil was white. There was almost no Hispanic musicians, and it's because of Gustavo Dudamel. You go look at the LA Phil; it actually represents LA. It's
really,
It's,
okay.
Like there's like Black musicians, Hispanic musicians, Asian American musicians. Yeah, it's awesome. There's a ton of female musicians. The LA Phil commissions the most female composer works in the entire world. They have the most female conductors come in and be guest conductors for the Philharmonic. So it's starting to change, but the reality is, it's still white dominated, white male dominated. What's funny is I know a lot of these great pianists, and I would say the best ones are mostly female right now. Most of the conservatories are female attended, but very few of them get the big gigs. So it's just it's kind of interesting to watch on the sidelines too. You're just kind of like, wow, what I see in school and my peers is not reflected on the concert hall stages at all. So
wow.
So yeah.
Oh wait, but so you're let's just say you're not a where did Luke go? Anyways, you're not a top 30 pianist that's gonna make a living. But you mentioned that you actually recorded with Dan Automator. Producer of Gorillaz. Everything. Automator, his own music, solo
Dr.
music,
Octagon,
musician, Dr. Octagon.
Yeah, Deltron 30. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us about that, because he could have tapped a top 30 musician, but picked George Coe.
I got I got lucky for sure. I mean, I have to say, it goes back to you, Eric. I know we always kiss your ring, but like I think life is so interesting in that way. Like if we hadn't worked on Giant Robot Media together, I would have never really met Dan. And like it started from just me taking photos, like for that article.
Oh yeah, that's right. You shot pictures of Dan real quick.
Yeah, just real quick. Like I met him for like 5 minutes, and then we just kind of like ran into each other at like all the events and like stories we did through that year, and we just stayed in touch. And then he just kind of texted me out of the blue. He's like, "Hey, I remember you play piano." And I was like, yeah. And he's like, "Oh, can you send me some of your stuff?" So I just sent him some of my classical stuff, and we met up. And he was telling me that he was doing a project for a movie, and it was for the Salt and Pepper biopic for Lifetime.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, with Domino. And so he was like, "Hey, I just need some piano stuff like to fill out and make the soundtrack a little bit better." And I said, "Okay, cool." So we started a kind of like a working relationship on that movie. And I have to admit, like maybe because I also started writing my own music and I started changing my style to be more on improvising, that it allowed me to write really fast. And so I was able to churn out the ideas that Dan and I had very quickly. And we were able to we did this whole thing remotely because of the pandemic, right? So like we were composing at a very fast pace. And so I basically improvised all the orchestral thematic stuff for the movie on the fly.
Without watching it or while watching it?
So we sketched out a couple ideas with the story in mind, and then I got a temp score first,
Gotcha.
And then I got a screeny, like I got the screeny link, and then so I kind of played to picture, but then I don't know, like it started with just needing like 30 seconds of piano music, and then I ended up I composed the main theme of the movie.
What? Awesome.
All the motivic themes of character development. Dan just let me go at it. And
wow.
So I actually ended up playing, I think there's like 15 minutes of piano music.
Oh, well, good. So can you play even a short sample of that?
I think the theme I wrote. So that's the main theme of the movie.
Awesome.
Yeah, then like different parts of the film it'll be like more like echoey, like, you know, like more cinematic stuff. And
I see. So it seems like it's very introspective sounds. Do you ever do something really upbeat for a movie? Like, did anything come up where it's, you know, because otherwise it's a hip hop based movie, but then it sounds like you're playing like the dramatic parts. Are there anything? Yeah. I don't know.
I played most of the dramatic stuff.
Oh, you did?
Like
okay.
The motivational stuff.
Gotcha.
Like the motivational stuff, I went in reverse. So it goes down. So the motivational stuff, we went like. I just took the main.
I made it. No, that's the feeling it got. Right? I made it. We made it, Luke. that's. We made it, Luke. Luke, we made it.
On a field on a Studio Ghibli movie, you know. It has that.
That's like, a feeling. It's awesome, man. Anyways. Congrats. That's rad, right? So it's like here you are, a classical musician more so, and then you start improvising your own, and then you're doing stuff with Automator. That's already bizarre, right, for a pianist.
Right? I mean, I still couldn't believe like Dan and I were making music during, like, first of all, the fact Dan even reached out, like not just to me as like someone who took photos for him, but just as like, hey, I want to hang out, and I heard you're a musician, to giving me the time and trust to like actually write music for a movie for Lifetime, and then giving me the trust to just compose everything out. Like,
yeah, so I didn't believe you, so I texted him, and he said he's gonna have you do more. Right?
Yeah, we're
so there you go.
Yeah,
he texted me, he goes, yeah, I'm gonna have him do more. I was like, you sure we got the same guy? You know, he was like, you're talking about Long, right? And I'm like, no. I'm kidding.
No,
so cool, very cool.
Yeah, we're waiting to do more. Like, I think it's just waiting for Hollywood to kind of give us the green light and be.
You should start a band with him because he plays the violin, right?
Yeah, I mean,
he's a violinist.
He's a trained violinist.
He said he wasn't as good as he wished he could have been. He said he told me he'd be good enough to be like a fourth chair at like the San Francisco Orchestra type of thing. And you know,
good.
It's good, but he said it's not first chair. He said he's not, you know, he couldn't be that good, but he said he'd be good enough for fourth, and he was like, nah, I'll just produce Automator music, you know, instead. I think that's a little better, but it's cool.
No, it's you know,
it's so cool.
Every day it's an honor, like during the pandemic, we quarantined ourselves for like 14 days, and we took this like, you know, we took a COVID test from Korea, because at that time we couldn't even get good COVID tests in America, right? And so we took COVID tests, and I went over to his place in SF, and we recorded. Cool. We did this whole album together where he made all the beats, and then I just recorded on his vintage synths. And it was the first time in my entire life I got to play on a CS60. I got to play on an original.
I don't know what that is.
Jupiter. Oh,
yeah,
so
what's CS?
A CS60 is a Yamaha synth. It's legendary. It used one's like $14,000, and like it made like almost all the space sounds.
Oh.
So it's a very famous console. And then I also got to play on a original Jupiter 8, which is the console that made all the sounds from the 70s to the 80s, like that very happy, like, you know, Chariots on Fire. It was recorded on that console. And so like it was amazing. Dan's collection was crazy, and so we made this album together. And I think Dan's thinking of putting it into a TV show, maybe, which would be awesome. But like, it was just awesome, like, just to make music together. And yeah, we're just waiting for Hollywood to reopen, and see where it goes. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Yeah.
Wow, very cool. But yeah, at the same time, you've also been like doing like musical improvisations, you like shows with the Giant Robot Stream, and then you've also been on Clubhouse. You know, and
can you talk first about the pandemic music stuff, because that was a really weird time where I was like, okay, we need something, you know, because this is like very stressful. And you started playing on, I think it was Sundays, kind of like Sunday music or something like that. It was like, I forgot what it was now, what we called it, but that was really rad. So I wonder if you could talk about that.
Yeah. Well, I think like it was. I moved back to Sawtell for a little bit, but then I ended up breaking up my lease because all my neighbors got COVID. So I was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm out of here. But during that time, yeah, like I would just hang out at GR, and I think we just wanted, like, we knew we were gonna go into lockdown. We knew like this was getting pretty serious, and everyone's kind of bummed out. And I remember Eric, you telling me like, hey, wouldn't it be nice if we just share, like, maybe if I played some piano and shared that like kind of good vibes with the entire GR family, and just like provide some soothing music. And I was like, yeah, that'd be awesome. And
I said that.
Yeah, you said nice things.
That's hard.
Eric.
That's
yeah,
God.
right?
It's hard for me to believe. But
that doesn't sound like Eric.
Yeah, I was like, "Who's this?"
I think the deadly virus just triggered that one part of Eric we don't really see. Yeah.
But I just remember. No, I just remember it was a stressful time. Every day it was just like bad news upon bad news and mystery, not knowing anything, and having George play piano, I remember was just like fun. It was just like, oh, look at it, just for an hour or whatever it was, 45 minutes or something. We just got to be free for 1 hour mentally, and people were watching it. I remember I was getting screenshots, people like eating dinner and watching George play. Like it was like dinner time. Like, so people were like, it was just people all over the place, just like, oh, look at us. We're watching George, and it was really nice.
And it was just cool to see everyone have so many nice words. And we started out with doing it. We did it 3 times a week initially. And
that's too much.
Yeah. Because we thought it was only going to last like a few months, right? We were like,
didn't know.
And our promise was like, I like remember telling the audience, I was like, I'm going to try to keep this up until we're out of the pandemic. Right? And that was my like stupid blanket promise. And then when it came to like August, I remember texting Eric. I'm like, dude, I'm doing once a week, man, because
that's okay.
It's nuts. And Eric was like, yeah, this is fucking crazy. Like we're still in the and we're still.
I had this idea originally that I wanted to get like a beater piano and put it in the back of a pickup truck, and like we drive around and we play concerts in the street, like in a neighborhood or something. But then I figure people get angry, so. Like this is during the height of the lockdown where you're not supposed to be out. Like it's curfew all the time. I was like, oh, it'd be awesome to do that. Just like have George play in the middle of the street, because there's no cars, right?
Funky piano improvisational things. Have you seen a lot of that, like the YouTube stuff where like they have like some guy dressed up like a homeless dude and like, get on a public piano and just kind of go to town on it, and like the videos get like stupid amounts of views, especially if it's like anime theme related for some reason. But like, but there's like videos of like that kind of thing going on YouTube, all over YouTube. Like, look at that homeless guy. He can't possibly have talent. And then suddenly, oh my God, he's got talent. Like, like, have you ever seen those? And how do you feel about that kind of thing?
I have seen them because they're all over Instagram, and I'm an Instagram fiend. I think like I don't like. I'm a very honest artist. I wear myself on my sleeve, so that's how I pursue my art, and I hope people like what I do because this is generally what I believe in doing and so I feel like if you're gonna do a video like that, if you're going with the onset of not being true to yourself, you're setting up a gimmick, then the video becomes a gimmick, I think, and it's entertaining. I mean, it's fun watching those, but then you get labeled as the gimmick. You're the meme, right? You're not an artist. You're not.
And Luke is like sitting there going, "Memes, yes, that's a good thing." Short-term gain, it's okay.
Short-term game is okay as long as like sometimes you need that little boost to kind of get.
I don't disagree with that. Yeah, I think meming something's okay, but you gotta convert it like fast. You gotta convert it to, if you want to prolong your career as an artist, you gotta convert it to something genuine pretty quick or back it up. Because I think a lot of those guys, like there's that really famous Boogie Woogie one, like they're like they're going like like they're playing something like that, and it's like, wow, it's so impressive. But then that's the only tune they know. Then you're a one-trick pony. Or like some people say they're really amazing, and in the piano world, you look at the video and you're like, wow, they're really bad. And that's just not me being judgmental.
Because we don't know. I mean, do we know the difference between somebody who's played for 20 years versus a top 30 pianist? We might not know.
You may not.
It might be the same. It might be the same thing to us. You know.
I think the intention behind the music you can tell. Like I think you can tell if an artist means what they mean. I think classical musicians are always so like. They're like audiophiles. They care about the fidelity. Like they want the note perfect thing, the perfect timing, the perfect timbre, the perfect intonation, like blah, blah, blah. But I've been to concerts where nothing was perfect, but because the artist believed in whatever the fuck they were doing so much, I was moved. Like that's more meaningful to me than like a note perfect thing. So I yeah, you're right in that, like in terms of the fidelity, right? It's like a lot of people can't tell the difference between, I don't know, an original piece of art or like a really high fidelity print. Most people can't tell the difference. An artist can tell. Like you can look at it and be like, oh, I know that's a print. I know that is a painting that was done with multiple layers and all those things. But like with most people, they can't really tell. Like it's amazing. Like I have prints in my apartment, right? People come over, they're like, oh, that's an original. I'm thinking in my head, it's clearly a print. There's like 39/2. I'm like, it's obviously a print. Like, I'm not hiding that. It says 30, But like, that's, it's like that. But,
yeah.
But I think when you know the intention behind it, when you get that from the artist, then it doesn't matter how well or how badly they play it. What matters is if they moved you or not. And I think that has value. So if like the gimmick and the meme turns into something that's moving, then yeah, go for it. Like you got the break with the internet, then use it to your advantage. But if you start out as a gimmick and that's the intentionality and you're always going to be a gimmick, then it's going to be really hard to build a career out of that.
Yeah.
I got a few questions from the internet. Is that okay?
Yeah.
From the net. See, Angry Bananas. He asks, describe a time when you worked with a difficult musician.
Yeah, no names are necessary.
Which one?
Just give us a story. And what I mean, because like we're not musicians, we don't know. So like,
oh man, which one should I pick?
A female one that's about your age.
Oh,
oops, I'm kidding.
I mean, So I'll give some quick anecdotes just to spell out how crazy this world is. Like, so I'll give some in the classical world. So I played in a recital one time with 6 other concert pianists, and there was an audience award that would be given, like for like the audience votes at the end of the concert who they liked the most. And this girl was jealous. I guess she was jealous of my playing. She tried to break my hands.
Oh, geez, yeah. Tanya Harding.
What?
She tried to Tanya Harding me at Carnegie Hall. And it was a very high profile concert. Like a couple members of the UN were there. There was someone from the the Poland consulate. It was a pretty high profile concert. And so I was warming up. I don't remember. What was I playing? I think I played... Chopin Ballade number 3.
Casual flex right there. Just a casual flex.
Hey,
no, it's okay. It's all good. No, play as much as you like. I'm just got to make fun of it.
I mean, I can play.
But so could Tom Hanks in Big with his feet. With his feet. Yeah. Anyway, so how did she almost break your hand? Was it with her thighs? I'm kidding. Sorry.
Oh gosh. No, so it was like, I went. I was like going backstage, and she asked me if I could hold something for her. She was like, "Oh, I'm looking for something. Can you hold this?" So I have my left hand, and I put my hand on like the edge of the door frame.
Oh.
And so she walked in and saw my hand was like holding onto the door frame like that, and she just slammed the door towards my hand, and I pulled my hand right before the door closed. And Carnegie Hall, the backstage door, it's a 15-foot tall door, and
Wow.
it weighs like 300 pounds because it's a soundproof door.
I was gonna say it's probably soundproof. Yeah.
So if I didn't move my hand, I would have totally broken my hand, like all
Wow.
my fingers.
What did she say?
She said, "Oh, whoops."
Damn.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah,
Great
and I remember looking at her and I just said, you know,
What's her name? No, I'm kidding.
oh,
No.
oh,
Everyone's gonna like.
no,
There's
yeah,
gonna be.
cancel
No.
culture. No.
No.
I just
I'm
remember
kidding.
telling her, I just said, hey, look, I just want to let you know if this is how you're going to treat me here in this tiny little concert, you're not going to go very far in life.
Mm.
I said, good luck with that approach.
Right.
and yeah, that was a very, very
Then she changed her name to Long Long.
Wow.
That would have been great. I mean, I don't think her career today is nowhere. Like she's not gigging. She's not, so there was that.
Wait. There's a couple of other questions. Do we want to jump to those?
I mean,
you don't have to talk. You don't talk about more how your hand almost. We don't want to. That's really sad.
I mean,
unless you want to point out some. Unless you want to point out some more musicians, but
I mean, I actually anything outside of classical, I've had a blast. I really like working with Dan is awesome. Like we just vibe back and forth. I think it's because we both come out of it with we love music. And we are in a sponge state where we're listening to everything and being very attentive to the world. Whereas classical musicians are like, this is just what I do, don't bother me. And so like that vibe, I would say 90% of my interactions with the classical musicians have been negative from the get-go. Whereas I would say 90% of my interactions with people outside of classical have been awesome. You're just like making music, having fun. So yeah, but yeah, happy to answer the other.
Wonderful. Jenna asks, how often does he play other instruments? Because you play guitar. I've seen
guitar,
that. Yeah.
I play guitar.
Yeah, I play. Right now I primarily just play piano and guitar. I play the saxophone like a few times a year. And then when I was a kid, I didn't know this, but I was a touring concert Chinese flute player.
What?
Like I didn't realize
like the bamboo flute.
Yeah, bamboo flute, dizi. Yeah, and I was apparently I was pretty good at it, and my teacher would take me to concerts with him, and I thought this was like a class, but I was actually his like supporting flute player. So I played like 80 gigs with him when I was a kid. So so it's just kind of a random thing, and what's funny was like I haven't played Chinese flute in so long, and I remember going to college and someone asked me, "Hey, can you play like? Do you want to audition for the the Harvard Chinese Orchestra student orchestra?" I'm like, "Okay, sure." They're like, "Can you play Chinese flute?" I'm like, I haven't played in years, but I'll try. So I remember auditioning, and then after I played, they're like, "Dude, were you like a pro?" And I'm like, "No, dude. Like I just did this when I was a kid," and I didn't realize my teacher was like. Because I don't have a lot of like I don't really remember all this, but he grilled me, and like I really studied the thing, and it was weird. Like I had no idea that I just had fun because my teacher was just such a nice guy. Like I felt like I was having fun. I felt like I wasn't practicing, but every lesson he constructed in a way where I was practicing the Chinese flute, and so he was. I have kept my dexterity still up. I can still do all the breathing stuff. Like I can play bird songs on the flute and. So that teacher was awesome. But yeah, so that was like a lifetime ago. So I play the Chinese flute like once a year, like maybe twice a year just to keep it up. But
you should like
guitar, yeah.
I wonder if like those guys who like play the Chinese violin like are still like, on like hanging out on 3rd Street Promenade, because you can like go with your Chinese flute and duet with them, and it would be amazing.
Oh, that would be cool. The only problem is the Chinese flute is really loud. It's really loud. It's piercing. So yeah, like 3rd Street Promenade would be perfect, but a subway would be like get the fuck out. It's
wow.
No one goes to the subway.
Yeah. Nowadays, yeah, exactly. Oh, in LA, yeah, no one goes to the subway. But like, yeah, because I realized I can't play Chinese flute in my apartment. I would get kicked out. It's too loud.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because I think so. A 9-foot Steinway is like 130 decibels. My bamboo flute can go 135.
Wow.
Oh wow.
I think 100. I think 130 is kind of loud, huh?
Yeah, that's like.
I kind of don't remember the number. I can't remember like
anything over 110 is like pretty close to deafening.
Yeah, I think My Bloody Valentine was playing at something like 130 plus or something weird, and you had to have earplugs. But yeah,
oh yeah,
it was like record. Anyway, so okay, another question by Dr. Andy Shen. I think he's the doctor. George, do you have any unique classical piano recordings that you love that you recommend, and also non classical piano as well?
Okay, so if it's just classical piano, I really love Long Long's new Goldberg Variations recording. So it starts at like that recording is phenomenal. So he has two recordings. It's his newest recording. He has one where it's a studio recording, and then he has one where he does the whole thing live. The piece takes about an hour to play. The live version is better than the studio recording. That's when you're like, he's like the greatest. So I would listen to that one. I love Mitsuko Uchida's recording of the late Beethoven sonatas. Those are fantastic. And then all of Rubinstein's Chopin recordings. They're just gorgeous. It's like...
Is that old? Is that older or?
That's old. Yeah, that's old. That's an old recording. And then non-classical piano recordings. God, I mean, like I guess non-classical piano, but piano. Like I love Hiromi Uehara. Like I think she's a genius. I think she's our living Mozart right now. But she's
and it's not classical.
No, she plays like neo jazz funk stuff. And she's a genius. Like my aspiration as an improviser is to be 1/100th of her. Like,
wait, what's her name? What's her name again?
Hiromi Uehara. I think
Okay.
Yeah.
Uehara probably or something like that. But okay.
Yeah, Uehara awesome. Hiromi. Yeah. So she's amazing. Go listen to her. I'm a huge John Mayer fan. I think a lot of people who follow me know that I have this weird obsession with John Mayer. I don't know. I kind of love everything. Yeah, I love Incubus. Incubus, yeah, like old Incubus. I don't know. I don't know. Now that I'm put on the spot, it's kind of hard to like spit it out.
It's okay.
Coltrane, Miles Davis. I don't know. Like all the Sinatra stuff, early Muse, early U2, classic rock, like all of it, Led Zeppelin, AC/DC.
All right, just tons of music.
Yeah,
tons of music.
I love music. Yeah.
What's your favorite thing to play?
My favorite thing to play.
Yeah, the go-to. You have a go-to piece, or someone's like, there's a piano just sitting there, and it's like, what do you, Someone's like, play something. How do you respond to that? Play something, and then
I play something. They're like, this fucking sucks. No.
I mean,
I really like playing. Like, I have a version of the Blackbird by the Beatles, and I really like playing that right now. I
Rock it. Play it, please. Even part of it or whatever you like.
I'll play a little bit. Yeah.
I know that song. It's cool.
Blackbird.
It's cool.
I can see that being composed as a duet, like with one person holding the the foundational melodies and rhythms, and another one like kind of going in with like some of the improvisational stuff that you're doing.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would love to do if I ever get the if I could ever get to this point in my career, like in a label backs me, I would love to do a tour with like a trio or a combo, where it's like a really great drum player, a really great guitar player, a really great bass player, and then maybe like a really good electronic musician, and just like do stuff like this. It'd be super cool.
Do you ever mess around with like electronic like you know like synths and stuff like that? Like, you know, just since I mean like you know your way around a keyboard. I guess the next thing is to know how to fuck around with the knobs and the patches.
Yeah, be like Wendy Carlos and just be like, like put the the cable.
It's a thing.
So like that's the next challenge Dan has for me as an artist is like he's like go try that out. So I actually just downloaded a couple of synth patches on Pro Tools, and I have my Nord, MIDI plugged into my laptop. That's my project for the next 2 weeks is to really figure that out. Cause I like if I, and maybe explore singing, like,
yeah.
like, I don't know. Let's try it out, see what else do I got to do during this pandemic,
Yeah, I mean, like, that's something that I just suddenly, like, I don't know why it didn't dawn on me earlier, but like the pandemic has really kind of like shut down like live shows.
Oh yeah.
Right. Like no one's going to like, like venues or fucking like, concert halls or anything like that.
Right.
So like, did that really like just decimate your schedule?
Oh, it killed the momentum, like, immediately. So like it helped. Okay, the pandemic helped me discover myself as an artist. Like it helped me break the cycle of just playing classical. It helped me break that cycle. It forced me to find a way to find myself as an artist and as a composer. So I am very grateful for the pandemic in that way. I guess that's a really weird thing to say. But
George is grateful for the pandemic. I am grateful for the pandemic. George
I'm
Coe.
I'm grateful for the pandemic.
No, Thanos is grateful for the pandemic.
I am Team Thanos. So.
Your team. Oh, yeah, left. It's the left hand, right?
Yeah, I'm Team Snap.
No, but like, like before the pandemic, I was supposed to go on a 30 concert tour just to play.
Wow.
And it was like LASF, Portland, Seattle. Oh wait, LASF, Portland, Seattle, Dallas, Philly, Chicago, New York, and then a bunch of cities in Europe. And then I was gonna do like Japan was the one I was psyched for. It's gonna be Tokyo, Osaka, and Kobe. Like, wow. And then I timed this so I could vacation in Arashiyama. So I was like really looking forward to that, and then totally decimated that. So, and I like basically if I just relied on music as an income, that was 98% of my income just gone, vanished. Because a lot of people are like, "Oh, you could teach," and I'm like, "You could." But I've never had a teaching studio. Like I didn't go get students. I didn't network as a teacher, and so that would take time. And
well, even then, like I've taken piano lessons before, and like all of my piano lessons were me, the teacher sitting next to me, at the piano.
Yeah.
Like so like you still have to interact.
Yeah.
Like if you want to teach effectively.
Yeah, it's basically impossible to do it well on Zoom. Like, and it's hard to tell. Like if you play versus. So in person, there's a huge difference, but on Zoom,
I can't
really tell. And like
I thought the same,
And I'm using different technique both times, and you can't tell through Zoom. So it's just like it's impossible. Like I remember someone signed up for Zoom coaching with me, and they wanted to learn how to play this really difficult Liszt passage, like something like that. and they're like, oh, how do I do the body motion and stuff? And I just sat there and I looked at him on the screen. I said, I can't tell you through Zoom. He says, I need to take my hand and I need to pull your elbow because you need to feel how to move your muscles to get that perfect position. I said, there is no way. It's like Kung Fu. It's like Wushu. Like if you don't have the master actually demonstrate it with you, or like, you know, like with Iman when he was teaching Wing Chun, like he would show people the woodman, and like you're taught to like interact with the other students, right, to develop the reflexes. And if you don't do like Tuaisao, like you don't learn any of that stuff with a partner, you will never learn it. The theory doesn't match the technique. So yeah, you're totally right, Luke. Like it's just on Zoom, it's just I would say you can learn the notes, but like after that, it's kind of useless.
Yeah, yeah, like you just don't feel right asking for whatever a lesson costs, right?
Yeah, so I mean, like I would charge like over $100, but like I can't consciously do that. So I do like, I don't know, like $45. Like I charge really cheap, but like I do as much as I can digitally. But then I would tell them like, here are the things you're gonna have to do in person that I can't help you right now. You have to, you know. So yeah, so the pandemic really, for most classical musicians, specifically in pianists, it really just destroyed everyone's career.
Destroyed a career.
It really just destroyed it.
But for the hustlers, it opened up new opportunities.
In a way, yes. I would say cash flow wise, it's still pretty terrible. But like in terms of the idea churning, right? Like I think had it not been for the pandemic, I wouldn't have invested so much time into Clubhouse. And through Clubhouse, I was able to find this community of people who liked my music, who supported, who bought merch on my website, who offered me gigs in other countries, who have increased my spot. So like just the power of Clubhouse. Before Clubhouse, I had 6,000 streams on Spotify. And after Clubhouse, I now have almost 40,000 streams. So that's all because of Clubhouse. So if it hadn't been for Clubhouse, no one, I mean, I would say still not a lot of people listen to my music in the grand scheme of the industry, but like a lot less people would have not listened to my music. So it's yeah, in that respect, it has opened opportunities. And if it wasn't for the pandemic, I don't think I would have worked with Dan like that too, right? Because
tell us about the EP before
yeah,
our time's running out a little bit, so I was like, gonna squeeze that in. Make sure we talk about your EP.
Yes. So my latest EP, Under the Peach Tree, was a collab with Maggie Cheong, who right now has her art show Fantastic Fruits at GR2, and it was fun to finally play somewhere. Like, Eric, that was the first time I played live in 15-16 months.
Well, and you played a lot.
yeah, it was
hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, I was like, should I keep playing? I'm like, there's still people walking in. Yeah, I should keep playing. I'm like, okay. Sure. It was good. It was good practice. No, it was a lot of fun. And basically, I was working on this EP. I had all these sketches for songs, but I didn't have a theme to combine them. So like I had that sketched out, and then I had, and I was like, okay. Then I had, and then I had. And so I didn't know creatively how to link it all, but I knew how to.
You know what you also had during that weekend? You came up with a theme for me.
Oh.
Do you remember what it was?
Remember the Luke Chu song? Remember how he walked around?
Yeah, that's the Luke Chu.
The Luke Chu song, and you should see Luke move to that song.
Yeah.
It was so good. Just I can imagine that with the bear.
Yep. Just kind of being derpy. Just being a little derpy.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
Yeah, and so basically I had all these songs, and I'm a really big fan of Maggie's art, and I was just
beautiful.
I was like, you know, because I was thinking about the album art for this, and I was thinking of like which artist I've seen that reminds me of this kind of music, and I was like, oh, Maggie's stuff totally works with this music. So I just reached out to Maggie. I was like, hey, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty damn bored during this pandemic. Do you want to work on something together? And I'm like, because I'm like, if you're busy, you got a show coming up, I don't want to. And it was like perfect because she needed something to help create more pieces for her show. So I was like, oh, perfect timing. So I said, I have these songs. I have no idea how they're going to finish sounding, but can I text them to you? And you let me know if you want to do it. If you think they're total crap, then yeah, don't work with me because you're an amazing artist and I'm a pianist. So I was like, here's my shit. So I texted it to her, and then she was like, oh, okay, yeah, let's do something. So I said, okay. So I just kept texting her back and forth songs, and I finally got it recorded. I recorded in my home studio, and then I got it mixed and mastered, and then I sent the files to her, and she was like, okay. So we listened to the tracks together, like we had like our own hi-fi like listening party, and then we were like, okay,
that's cool.
And we're like, hey, this reminds. She was like, this reminds me of Seasons of the Year. It's perfect. 4 tracks. They're very different, but they're all kind of connected. And so we were like playing on the theme of the seasons, and then she's like, well, I'm doing this show. It's Fantastic Fruits. She's doing this theme on fruits. And we were thinking of fruits that kind of encompass all the seasons and had the imagery of the sound that I had in the music. And we just thought peaches and like under the peach tree. It just seemed very romantic and calming and relaxing. And also like, there's like a lot of peaches in Asian mythology. And it's just like a lot of good things about peaches. And it just brought a lot of good vibes because we've had such a shitty year. And so we're like, okay, yeah, let's do Under the Peach Tree. And so Maggie started painting, she had this idea of a piano, a piano in the forest, and her small girl, character, and then like Under the Peach Tree. And like I remember seeing the first sketch. She was like, oh, I don't know about this, but like, what do you think? And I was just like, this is gonna be on the cover of my EP. What a freaking honor! I was like, wow. I was like blown away. I was like, this is gonna be the best looking album art of my career. I was like,
so where
wow.
Where do people get to see or download or get this album?
Yeah, so you can stream it on anything. So you can stream it on all your favorite streaming platforms: Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, Tidal, Deezer, what have you. You can purchase the album on iTunes if you want to go old school. And then I'm actually getting like vinyl records on
you're
Saturday
doing that
this week. So I think we'll have 20 available to sell. So I have to work out the logistics on how to get Maggie to sign. I want to ask Maggie if she could sign them too, but like she's in the Bay, so I probably have to ship it back and forth. But
yeah,
just have like 5 of them signed, and then the rest let people figure it out on their own.
Oh, okay. Like upsell the signed ones, like $2,000.
That's cool.
I'm kidding, but no. So it was just a fun collab, and it was just nice to work with a friend on an artistic project. And I think so from the entire pandemic, I released 3 EPs, 1 album, and 5 singles. And so like I'm kind of like pooped out creatively. Like that this EP was kind of like the last stretch of the creative juices, and now it's like I think it's like
a lot in 1 year, man.
It's a lot, yeah. And so like I think now this is like a perfect time to now take a break from writing just piano music and now going to the next phase, right? Like exploring.
And now
stuff.
It's time to dick around.
Wow! And on that note, I love that full circle big dick energy, Luke. You know?
Very good. Wow.
Alrighty. I know Eric.
I gotta head out. There's always something dirty on the stream, which is always nice.
George, it was great talking to you. How can people find you on social media?
Yeah, so you can follow me at _GeorgeCo. That's at _GeorgeGeko. My website is georgeco.co. Yeah, there's 2 co's. It's a little confusing. But yeah, and then the best way to support me is to follow me on Spotify. So just type in my name. You'll see my face pop up like, I think it's like this. And then, just give me a follow. That'd be super helpful.
Sweet. Alrighty, awesome. Guys. Thank you, George. And hopefully we'll be running. We'll people see around Los Angeles, and check out his music and look for him on Clubhouse.
Clubhouse.
And,
Also.
So, alrighty, everyone, have a great night.
Thanks, you very
Luke.
much.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thank you very much. Thanks,
Thank you,
George.
GR.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Sayonara.